onto the Rift for... Oh my goodness, the very first Dplus red?
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, very cool. Okay, let's see whether they can pick up a victory here or whether it's just going to be Gen.G with a 2-0 on the day. They've been pretty good at winning in 2-0 fashion so far. We'll see whether that continues.
I'm wondering, will we see... We've seen so many teams just ban Showmaker's LeBlanc. They're like, I'm not dealing with that. I'm just not going to allow it. I'm not going to play around that. I'm not going to deal with the lane dominance. Gen.G, I think, are saying, it's Chovy. We'll be fine. I wonder if you could test that. If you test that theory, though, and Showmaker is ready to throw down the gauntlet, what could happen? Because LeBlanc is not one of our top meta picks right now, but it is a pick that Showmaker has showcased better than anyone else since the iterations of all these teams came through at Kespa Cup. And I wonder, is that the kind of game Dplus need to play here to steal away a win from our favorites here in Gen.G?
We'll just have to find out. As Gen.G, one final ban to come on through here. As it's kind of cute because now we just have exactly the same thing happening with first pick on blue side and then first pick on blue side again for this game number 2. Except it does feel a little bit like Gen.G got side selection for the second game and the first. But happening one more time. Sorry, DK seemed to have side selection for the first, and Gen.G have it now for the second with the old theory, but now right of first selection does mean that we will have Gen.G with the second option, but with second pick being selected here by DK.
Not a
red side.
Lot of hints here.
Yeah.
Nico is banned, right? So you could just go for an early Yunara pick if you are Ruler and Gen.G. In this position, feels really safe.
Yep, Talia is feeling like a decent pick, but with Showmaker...
Oh, Rumble's up.
Oh, never mind, Rumble's up.
And they banned Aurora,
So wait, why does Keen get Rumble? That doesn't seem right. That doesn't seem
fair.
It
seems like that guy was kind of important in the last game. He played really well. He did a lot of things.
Was it Keen that also played the Rumble last? I wrote Keen instead of Rumble on my sheet. It's a little bit of a fumble there, but that's okay. Yeah, it was Keen that was like printing money with his first strike Rumble, if I remember correctly. Really just kind of melting everyone. And we decided at that point that it's probably not okay to give Keen Rumble.
Ari, is that what we're doing here?
Ooh,
or are we just going to go Vi Yunara and then grab Talia on 3 if it's left available? I suppose that could be the game plan here for Dplus Kia. We know how much CV Max loves his Talia.
Well, it is a Wukong angle here potentially for Canyon. The Pantheon is another thing that they could have gone with. And honestly, like, Rumble, Pantheon, Talia, that sounds like a pretty good choice.
I kind of feel like that is just too strong. They could just go Wukong Rakan here and feel pretty good about that as well.
Could be one of the angles. But they are probably staring down the barrel of a Yunara Lulu. And so maybe you don't want to have a Rakan who doesn't necessarily have quite as much power in the laning phase. But it looks like it's Chovy that's making his decision right now.
And it looks like he wants to just play through being a frontline and being aggressive on top of this Yunara.
All right. And now with Wukong Galio, I mean, the Gargoyle delivery system is pretty scary. This is a bit of a no-brainer, though, as Vi Yunara Lulu is pretty powerful because you keep your solo lanes hidden. Showmaker a little bit more difficult.
Showmaker will be the one who has to feel the pain of this pick being prioritized over a counter pick in the mid lane. But I don't know how much that matters because his pool is so huge, and like I was kind of alluding to before this draft even started, maybe his plan all along was to do something a little bit different here in game 2. And now they can protect an already incredibly oppressive lane and the Yunara Lulu. The Nautilus is not good in the lane, but at least you can lock that Yunara down in a team fight.
Yep.
With all the other CC they have, so that makes sense. We're seeing Nautilus look
charge. That's what they wanted to do.
Yeah, we're seeing Nautilus look a lot stronger right now here in week 2 of LCK Cup. A lot of people are picking it up.
Well, let's see what the bans are going to be here on Gen.G's side. I expect them to, aim it towards the top side of the map. Just trying to make sure that Keen can really run away with it. Cassante has been a pretty popular pick into the Rumble recently.
Yeah, we haven't seen as much Ornn counter pick. That has kind of fallen by the wayside. I don't think we've seen him even a single time here in LCK Cup.
Nope.
Blitzcrank is one way to just cheat the lane and pull that Lulu in, and they will not allow it.
Duro is a pretty scary blitz player as well.
We could end up in a world where it's a Kalista Renata lane, but that is really a all-in draft from Gen.G in terms of what the late game will look like if they do not get a pretty significant advantage through the mid game.
They'd have a lot of power, though, and I feel like Kalista has been doing randomly well in the later stages, as there's that Ornn you were talking about. It's still going to be banned away here.
I think it's either that or it's a Lucian lane of some type, right, to try to battle this Lulu. I suppose you could go Ezreal Karma, but then you really have quite a janky composition. And it's just going to be Sion here, it looks like, for Shiu. Just stem the bleeding. Yep, be a front line. It fits the bill. It was the third tank. You only had 2 bans in the second phase, so...
I find it interesting that Ornn was banned. I know Ornn was like originally the pick into the Rumble, but Sion, I feel, has been picking up a lot more steam in that category. So she is still going to have access to that. It's still not going to be a great lane, but he should still have a fair bit of control. Ashe is an interesting choice, and some extra engage.
What if it's Ashe support? No.
Oh, Ashe Seraphine. If you ever just decide that you really want to win a lane, this is a way to do it.
It does have a lot of power, actually, with the Seraphine Encore extensions, with the Wukong and the Galio. And they already have so much CC, and the arrow on top of it feels great. As this was not really what I had in mind when I was talking about Showmaker's eclectic pool. It is very strong, but it is not consistent damage, and it is very conditional CC in a lot of these fights. Great for peeling with the getting into the Wukong, and is going to be amazing in the early laning phase to just chunk the Galio out and constantly have prio. But it comes with a lot of trade-offs, and it is very immobile into a composition that has Wukong, Galio, Ashe, Seraphine.
Yeah, it does lack a little bit of the ability to get out of the way of all of this stuff that's just going to be thrown at you. The wombo combo potential here of Gen.G, like everyone can CC you with a skill shot. It's kind of ludicrous. Canyon, not necessarily as much with a skill. He spins around on top of you. But it still does work kind of the same way as the gargoyle can just fall down on top when you have an arrow come down, the encore over the top. Yeah, DK need to be so incredibly careful because their composition feels a lot all in. And then the answering CC barrage is going to be so difficult to deal with. Feels like Gen.G have, sort of drafted themselves the answer unless something really goes wrong.
If they had just picked a scaling damage mid laner, like, I mean, it's not very popular right now, but even something like a Victor, I would have felt like this comp has such insane late game with the Sion frontline that it becomes so easy to win even from behind. But now it just feels fragile because it has only one true damage carry.
Yeah. Well, there's one of the...
It's his birthday next week, and he wants the Dplus bros to get it done for him.
Well, let's see whether they can. As happy birthday, little man. I think that's one of the youngest people I've seen here at the Chijijik Lol Park. But let's see whether we can get him an extended series and a very late night. Let's get into the Rift, Game 2. All right, Dplus fans, very loud. As you can see, the Gen.G solo lane is hanging out together in the grub pit. Seeing whether there's any shenanigans to go on. Looks like nothing at all. Neither of them with much of an ability to get over said grub pit wall. Outside of the flash.
Yeah, it's not going to be anything too crazy.
Ooh, first strike here from Showmaker wanting to just put some money together.
Yeah, this is the Syndra versus Galio where you're like, I'm going to throw stuff at you, and you're going to get hit by it, and I'm going to get points.
Yeah.
It's like that, game in the carnival where you press the button and you have to shoot as many basketball hoops as you can in a time limit.
Yep.
And what you get done, then the next person has to compete with you or you compete with them directly. But in this case, it's kind of Showmaker trying to get a high score in terms of winning this laning phase so he can take that into the mid game. Because he is the one who gets the most value in the mid game if he is online. As Splinters obviously will get him stronger later. But he is the only way they can really set up mid-game fights. Vi, Lulu is relatively strong engaged, but this is not a insanely strong mid-jungle synergistic duo at the moment. In a lot of matchups it can be, but in the Galio it's a little bit tough to completely dominate here. But the Syndra is just going to continue to hit the Galio and annoy him.
Yeah, that is seemingly what's going on. He's hit a lot of these Dark Spheres as well, as Scat of the Week is going to land at the same time.
He's basically saying, your health bar is my bank, and I'd like to make a withdrawal.
Yeah, and Chovy is using a lot of his health bar in order to stay ahead in farm, and is actually doing a great job at that. But as you can see, the gold is not necessarily in completely his control. As DK doing okay here towards his bottom side at the same time, although Ruler does have a decent little advantage. But Ashe Seraphine pretty good at generally winning the lane. As, all right, Chovy could almost just be dead here. Force of Will goes down and not quite able to get in range for another sphere.
Almost overdrafted the bank account.
Yeah, a little bit. But we've got a Ghost here for Showmaker and Teleport for Chovy, so wanting to make use of the Teleport for Chovy to get himself back to this lane. As there's the beat drop, connects onto Smash, fair bit of damage there. As now Lucid and Canyon fighting one another. Canyon looking to try and fight back, though, as we can see. Mid lane is trying to get into a position where they can move over, but it's Duro that gets first move on the bottom side, and that's going to mean that Canyon gets first access to this crab.
A bit of a loss streak here for good old Yunara.
Yeah, she's not having the greatest of times. We'll see whether that is going to get mitigated here by Smash and Korea, or whether it's going to be once again the tale of woe. Lucid does manage to even out the crab count, and he is now looking for a little bit of a reset. Might be heading back towards his Krugs to continue that clear once again.
I am pretty impressed with how much Xiu has done in this top lane matchup as hold up.
Yeah, another beat drop. Slurkle not really doing too much here, as Duro is really helping win out this lane. Landing everything.
Xiu has a 5 CS lead.
There you go. That's some early game Scion stuff right there.
Yeah, he's got the wave where he wants it. And unfortunately, Keen with his prio got the ward up there, so I don't think Lucid can turn into anything.
Cannon! Cannon! Oh, no. It's a disaster. His career's almost dead as well. That's another bad thing. As now, with this wave crashing forward, they'll take a plate. And man, this Ashe Seraphine thing is just not looking very playable here on the DK side. Another beat drop connects, and high note on top of that.
The cool thing about this, though, is unlike the Karma lane that they could have opted into, this Seraphine has so much utility for this draft and is such good engage and setup. When you look at the Wukong and Galio go in, the ultimate is going to be so powerful. There's just a really cool idea here in draft for Gen.G. I think they really hit the nail on the head with this one, and it feels like there's no consequence to this pick. You know? It's like, okay, we win now and we will also win later.
And look, get another plate, and Smash had to go back, has completed his shoes, so being able to walk out of the wave stuff is probably a good thing, but still not really going to help you that much, because volley's a difficult one to avoid. At least then when the beat drop comes down, he'll have a little bit more of a chance to escape that.
I didn't realize, although I should have expected, that Showmaker would go Ghost here as well, but that is potentially going to be a huge drawback in this game, because getting back to farming, that's one thing, right? Like, getting back to farming is really easy, but getting back to a team fight, if you get caught in sides because you have no mobility as Syndra in this game, can really hurt you when we get to the later parts of the game, setting up for Barons and things like that. As Canyon is coming down here.
Yeah, Korea is in so much trouble. Doesn't have level 6 just yet, but with Lucid in the area, they are able to back away. And one thing that we do have to remind everyone of is this is Lucid's Vi. Like, this is the guy that was winning every single game on this champion in Challenger. We'll see whether he can channel some of that. As now Career is in a very awkward spot. Needs to be extraordinarily careful. Is able to at least get out of here for the moment. But the Crab once again going to go over to Gen.G. As Lucid looking to get himself the heck out of there. Understandably so as well. Phaelite set up once again for Gen.G, who retain full control over this bottom side.
And I mean, Chovy had ult. There's just so many different things that could go wrong for Dplus, so they just have to concede the point.
Understandable.
I think the best thing for Dplus is that Career was able to get out without flashing. That was like the only good news. And the rest is all Gen.G in this early game. Xiu is going to run back to lane, but I was going to say pretty slowly running back to lane, but in fact he does pop his ultimate.
Yeah, just going to drive his way up there. Running towards these minions. Nails the cannon. Beautifully done.
Ult for cannon.
Gorgeous. You love to see it. And Keen is once again just trying to print money with his first strike, but has yet to be able to get too much together. Is a couple of CS in the lead, and actually 200 gold lead with that minimal of a CS gap is pretty impressive as far as the first strike value is concerned.
Can't say the same about Showmaker, unfortunately down on farm, so only a small lead for him.
Arrow going to connect here onto Korea. Doesn't have that level 6, as we mentioned before, as taking a lot of damage back, though. Smash, only level 5, but still able to deal with it relatively well. I think Shield's coming out from Korea actually helping a lot in that exchange.
Yeah, without level 6, he cannot continue to do the damage he needs here. I think he pressed tab and remembered Ruler's got barrier also, and he does not. So trying to play that one out would have been a misplay, I would say.
Yep. Couple more minions there, one more, and Smash does hit that level 6, so at least now he has his ultimate up and available. Lucid moving over, looking for both Ruler and Duro, as there's the Arc of Ruin. Underneath the turret goes Lucid, as Ruler is going to go down. That is first blood over to Smash, but the answering kill does immediately come in. Canyon looking to try and get his way forward, as there's the flash out from Korea, and the flash immediately answered there by Canyon. He wants to get in with another Nimbus strike, but doesn't quite connect. Duro's there, though, and locks down the Yunara. Yeah, 1 for 3. I think we'd say that that one's worth here for Gen.G.
I think the real big issue here, I mean, things might have transpired similarly, but the fact that the Arc of Ruin misses is really rough for Smash. He needed to hit that one to be able to lock down the kill before getting under turret. Ruler does not get hit here, and so the Vi ultimate has to be employed, and Lucid takes that extra ramping turret shot, and then Canyon here with flash and ult. It's just able to follow flash. The flash timing for Career is great. They both flash, and yet still.
Yeah, Duro able to pick up the kill there. Canyon tanking up the turret.
It's those little things, right? Like if you hit that, maybe you get the kill faster. Vi can help you peel when Canyon shows up, and then you can get away, and you end up alive with Ruler dead. But instead, it ended up being really rough there for them. They had to commit further, and Gen.G just further their lead.
Yeah, and now this Infernal Drake going to get taken here by Canyon. At the same time, I don't think that Lucid's going to be able to do anything about that, especially with the fact that this bottom lane is without too much control at all. Blackfire Torch is now done for Showmaker, so first item is going to be coming on through there, as the Equalizer is put through this top lane from Keen, just to make sure that he creates the tempo that he wants.
And they want to set up for Grubs here very soon, and
this is frightening. There is Wild Growth and the ulti from Smash here available, but there is the Gargoyle's heroic entrance. The arrow's going to come down there as the cleanse immediately stops that one from happening, but there's the Encore, and there is just CC for days, overloading the bottom lane 4 versus 2, and there's nothing DK can do about it.
Yeah, Showmaker gets a plate, and Lucid gets a Grump. All right, cross-mapped him.
Yeah, that is that was just kind of absurd. Gen.G really are not allowing DK to play the game.
They did not play the game, and they did not get the Grubs either. As, you know, when we saw Lucid up there, Canyon's bottom side, I thought, okay, well, they're going to get Grubs in exchange. But again, both of the bottom duo go down. They're not farming. The exchange they get on the other side of the map is pitiful in comparison. And now you're looking at a pretty massive gold lead. This Echoes of Helia build here coming out for Duro. It's going to be really efficient. And like you mentioned, already done. Going for tier next.
Wow.
And I just don't know how Dplus are going to be able to function in this game at this point with the Yunara that's this significantly put behind. It's not like Ruler is massively ahead, it's just that the Yunara is behind. And for Gen.G, the Ashe is kind of utility. Like, she's going to have great follow-up for all of the insane engage. The identity of Gen.G's comp is very clear, whereas Dplus is a little bit more flexible. But the Yunara is the only damage, right? Like, the only consistent one who's going to be doing long-term damage in team fights. Feels like their win cons are so far away now. Grubs and Dragon going over to Gen.G as well, because Lucid didn't get the cross-map Grubs.
Yeah,
feels
and
bad.
Now Canyon looking for Showmaker here. He immediately flashes, not wasting any time on that one. You can understand it, but it is still looking a little rough, as now Smash taking a lot of damage, misses the Slurkle, as Lucid trying to get in here, but Ruler without flash is still pretty safe, given the enchanted Crystal Arrow. And so DK still just not really finding too much. Everywhere they move, Gen.G just seems impossible to take down.
Canyon is maybe even giving, at this point, with his influence in this game, keen to run for his money for leader on Palm at this point. Like, he has done so much work in this game. He has been incredibly impactful. And he is still even keen by himself. He's like, this is about me.
I mean, there's also the Duro factor, right? Had a fantastic Bard game and is now 100% kill contribution on this Seraphine.
It's those guys.
2-0-3. My goodness.
And, okay, let's see. Lucid can find the angle.
Lucid dives in, finds the Vault Breaker, and down will go Canyon before he can do anything. Wild Growth onto Lucid to keep him alive as now Duro desperately trying to get out, but Lucid saying, this is my buy, and we will find a win here in this mid-game, and Lucid, they do manage to get something done.
Lucid says, my Palm.
Yeah, I think so.
Gets arrowed here.
Yeah, arrowed
randomly. I think they were trying to hit Showmaker so that Chovy could get something there, but just kind
Lucid Vault breaks into the arrow. That was very
totally
funny.
intentional. Was definitely not trying to get the Scuttle Crab. The Scuttle Crab just happened to be in the way of him saving Showmaker from getting arrowed to death.
And actually, like, I think he did just save Showmaker there, potentially.
I think so.
Very funny. All right, let's have a look at this one more time. As, Lucid's just like, we are winning.
This is so well coordinated, though, because look at Showmaker's follow-up as well as the Arc of Ruin from Smash with the ultimate procced. There's just no time to Cyclone. Cannot actually even press the R button before he's dead. And there's just no way to play the fight without that core there. Chovy doesn't want to ult into 4 waiting members, so he just ultimately decides not to go for it. The arrow attempt there from Ruler would have maybe given Chovy something back if it had hit Showmaker, but it didn't. And the top laner is just not in this game. And Keen doesn't need resources in this matchup, so he's like, yeah, I was your, attention. Like last game, I was the main character. Let's play through bottom lane.
Well, he might get a little bit more important later on in this game, as right now, Shiu is still, he's starting to bear the brunt of a difficult matchup. As you can see, close to 600 gold the advantage. So much of that is just first strike here for Keen, who is just printing money.
Showmaker printing a little bit himself, 2 assists on top of some of his first strike gold.
Yeah, actually a similar lead for him against Chovy. The Blackfire Torch doing a fair bit of work.
He does have cashback as well, Showmaker, so is going to be pretty economic in this game, and I think he really needs to. It's pretty big that Smash is able to get a kill back in that exchange on the bottom side because he needs so desperately to rush to his 2-item spike and then be able to be at a playable game state when he gets 3. I think if Dplus are going to come back here.
Yeah, this is still a dire position, but Lucid spotting some vision here, but Canyon down here at the same time. Chovy there with the heroic entrance available. Every time the Canyon goes in, they have to be pretty scared. As now the Drake being looked at.
Showmaker could try to join this fight, but I think they just have to give this up.
And giving up Double Dragon always feels bad, but Lucid's in base right now. Does have Sundered Skies building very quickly towards the Black Cleaver, but doesn't quite have it just yet.
They just don't have any way to say, let's get in there quickly and shut this down. It's not in position. They don't have the champs to do it either. And, I mean, this Dragon just goes over for free. Chovy's free farming in the bottom lane. And Lucid is going to try to start up this Herald. I don't even know if there was a contest here. They might be able to deny this. They're going to clear this wave real quick. I mean, he's doing it solo. And, in fact, you see he just pulled off of it. Cannot actually get the cross map on the Herald.
Yeah,
well, at least not without some help.
Yeah, he does get even a little bit of a tap there as well, as Chovy will just comfortably take down this bottom outer turret. That is going to be first Tower Blood over to Gen.G at the same time, so even more money going over their way, close to a 2,000 gold advantage, as that one is going to fall. And yeah, 2.2 in fact.
Yeah, I mean, he gets the bottom turret. They drop the Herald. They looked like they were going to group to contest it, but they decide not to, so Chovy just gets that for free. Doesn't have to TP into the fight. Doesn't have to expend his ultimate.
And so that's 3 grubs over to Gen.G. They've got both of the dragons.
And the Herald.
Yeah, and
is potentially going to be theirs. I mean, they are grouped for it now.
Yeah, so DK have just not really been able to do too much of anything at all. Not able to get too much pressure onto any of these turrets either. A couple of plates have gone over to Showmaker, but I think the value has been there from Chovy on the cross-map plays. As Korea running pretty quickly as he home guards back towards this mid lane. But it just feels like another day in the office here for Gen.G.
Yeah, Lucid is not really smiting the really big jungle things this game.
No, not so much. And also probably not going to be taking this Rift Herald either.
It's just another one on the list.
Yeah, well, let's see.
Duro can deny them entry easily.
Lucid is level 11, so he is pretty scary. And now Xiu is ulting his way forward. Duro might be his target, as there he is, able to crash his way in. That is going to be the steal over to Lucid, but is he going to pay for it with his life? That's the question. The Cyclone comes down. Scatter the Weak is fantastic as Lucid. He can flash the wall, but he's also got a Vault Breaker. As Xiu is going to die, and I don't think the eye is going to go over to DK. Zombie Scion could have tried to get there, but instead, he is just going to be taken out. So it is just going to be the Rift Herald, just not allowed to play today.
Dplus just not able to get these objectives secured. Sure, they smite it. We cannot actually secure the objective itself. And this engage is onto Duro, by the way, from Xiu. Watch the rest of the fight. What's happening that's relevant. Xiu's like, I'm keeping the Seraphine at bay.
Well, Korea sort of just exploded.
If Xiu perhaps had been on the right side of the fight, there might have been some leeway there for Smash to play through, right? Like he might have actually been able to kind of, you know, use his auto attacks right with the front line there and maybe try to get through the front line of Gen.G and maybe make that a little bit more playable. But, you know, Xiu just is unable to really impact that that fight at all with his ult in.
So this is feeling a little bit rough here for DK at this point in the game.
It certainly is.
I just want to I want to see some signs of life out of them. You know, I want to see like an idea of a play. There was, a decent idea of, Xiu get in there with the ultimate, try and make something happen around that Rift Herald. They did manage to at least secure the smite on it, even if the eye didn't come down, so they don't have to worry about Shelly running into any of their turrets. I mean, but it's still a 3,000 gold lead with Gen.G making every single play so far, is what it feels like.
If Lucid ults somebody and Showmaker's in position to follow up, and the Career's in position to follow up and smashes there, like we saw when they killed Canyon, that can work, but it gets tougher and tougher the further you fall behind. And when you don't have map control, making plays like that feel like pipe dreams. I mean, you can see here, Lucid tries to make one now.
Yeah, here's another drive from Xiu, but this time, unfortunately, just crashes into the wall. Cyclone out from Canyon, not exactly getting too much value, as Lucid able to Vault Break his way out, as the Enchanted Crystal Arrow doesn't exactly get too much done. Career Wild Growth himself just to peel. And then Keen getting into the back line, but Xiu is there as a brick wall. So DK, good defense, right? Unfortunately, a defense doesn't necessarily win you the game as Ruler almost dies. The Arc of Ruin, not enough though. And Showmaker avoiding the Winds of War quite nicely. And DK will be able to get away with their lives intact.
It's really going to get harder and harder in this game. And
Chovy gets in there. Taunt is going to connect onto only Lucid, though, as everybody else able to flash themselves out. There's a teleport in, though, as Duro is going to die to the turret. Keen might be doing the same thing, but actually the turret hasn't got mad at him yet. It's Chovy that comes down on top and starts tanking it up. Xiu gets the knock up there, as Duro in trade for Lucid is it right now. But Ruler now trying to get a little bit aggressive. Slurkle comes on forward, but the Ashe pretty good at generally kiting the members of DK around.
Yeah, this is it's a sticky situation. I think is maybe an oversimplification of how Dplus are going to try to come back in this game. The fact that they're the comp with the Vi, right? And it's a Galio blast coning in. It's a Mega Cone. That's the engage here for Gen.G because they don't have their ults. Like, I think that's why Dplus were like, yeah, we can stand up and try to defend this turret. They just didn't expect a Galio to fly into the back line. And, I mean, yes, Chovy gets knocked up here, but where's the follow-up? There is none. There is nothing they can do, really, in this situation.
Yeah, and Xiu actually flashed for that. It's a little unfortunate that nothing really came of it.
I just don't think this Syndra is working out from behind. They needed to be in control the whole time. They had that one cool play on the bottom side, but that has really been it. It's the composition that left me scratching my head a little bit, but the execution has also not really been inspiring just yet outside of the laning phase.
And now you've got Lucid on a bit of a flank angle, and Xiu able to at least stand in front and be frustrating here as he gets a big old shield with the help of Korea. Ruler will still make his life very difficult. And Smash takes a lot of damage from Volley. Circle though doing some work. A Scatter of the Weak just barely missing onto Ruler. That's all right, Lucid off to the side. Dragon is angry at him momentarily.
It's like, who do you engage on when their follow-up is on the other side of the fight, though?
The problem is if you do engage, then you've got a Galio. Although Heroic Entrance is on cooldown, maybe this is an opportunity for DK.
The Seraphine peel, though, as well as Ruler having Flash, I mean,
as the equalizer, Arrow is going to go wide. And so DK now not having to worry about very many ultimates at all, although there is an Encore and a Cyclone. But still Gen.G with control of this area.
Now, as Dplus, you really have to try to find a target and commit all together.
Well, Keen gonna get knocked up. Let's see whether Smash can help take him down as the heroic entrance does come on in, and that is going to defend the Rumble, and they take down the Dragon. DK just not really able to answer anything that Gen.G are throwing out.
And Gen.G's comp just is so good defensively, and they have map control, they have prio. Lucid wants to flank, but I think he should probably think twice.
Yeah.
Think twice.
Rotating over. There is the taunt, and I think Lucid's just dead. There's the Encore. Beat drop comes on down, and yeah, Scat of the Week is there from Showmaker, but that's all he really offers, and it's just a dead Lucid.
This composition is so oppressive here from Gen.G. There is no angle in. You're like, I'm Vi. Surely there's someone I can find. No, there really isn't, because the positioning is good and the defensive tools are there. This, I just don't even understand.
Yeah.
That was some Kanavi-like behavior right there.
I think it was just a bit of frustration here from Lucid, wishing that he could affect the game in some way. Wanted to come on over there and smite away a Raptor camp, and it just didn't quite work out. So unfortunately, he's up to 3 deaths in this game. Black Cleaver is now done, but as you can see here, it's once again a pretty linear gold graph. Yeah, there was that little spike in the earlier part of the game, but otherwise Gen.G are just building this lead incrementally. And Cosmic Drive is now done for Showmaker, so 2 items have been put together by this Syndra. Just don't feel like he's keeping up in this game.
He just
Maker's done here for Chovy as well.
What he can do in this game state is so significantly, like there's so many less options for him, there's so many less plays to make than what Chovy can do. He can aggressively look for a taunt play, he can walk up and absorb damage. Ooh. He can follow up. Okay, this is kind of tricky. This could work.
Yep, there's a cease and desist as Smash has thrown down the ulti. Flash out from Ruler though as Shiu makes his way in, but the ulti's blocked by Duro. His Q is interrupted though as everyone on Gen.G is going to show up to help, apart from Chovy, who is just smashing down an inner turret in the top lane. And now the rest of Gen.G are trying to come on over. The flash forward from Keen. Scat of the Week is good there from Showmaker, but he does have to flash as well to get himself out of there. As now Lucid trying to deal with Chovy. In the meantime, there's a knock-up out from Shiu, who does have to flash as well to avoid the beat drop. Lucid still fighting here as Chovy just gets out. Heroic entrance to join the rest of his team. Shiu going to die as well. Oh, never mind! He gets a big old shield and survives. But what's the point of surviving if you're just slowly losing the game? Oh, and there's the Cyclone. Maybe it's a bit faster than I would have otherwise thought. Both of the carries dead in the blink of an eye. And Gen.G are going to turn their sights towards the inner turret and possibly everything else.
Canyon having a phenomenal Wukong game here. This just feels like what it always has felt like for Dplus and Gen.G since 2022 is Dplus is out swinging their fists, swinging their arms, and Gen.G is the older brother that's over the head.
Yeah.
And Dplus just can't quite reach Atlas. As hard as they may swing, as much as they may struggle, they can make no dent in Gen.G.
They need to buy some like Wolverine claws or something like that. Because, yeah, okay, Lucid's going to go in and doesn't manage to get the steal, but he got pretty close. Canyon does not early smite this time around as the arrow is going to connect onto Korea, who is very, very dead. Shiu is also very dead. And Showmaker and Smash are just kind of left wondering what the heck they're supposed to do this game. It's a 10,000 gold lead at 25 minutes.
You know when your clothes are wet and you're going to hang them up, but first you got to take them and squeeze the water out, wring them out to dry?
Yeah, you're not supposed to do that. You can really affect the shape of the clothing.
Well, I think the clothing is Dplus, and I think they want to affect the shape of it, Atlas.
Yeah.
I think they want to leave some wrinkles in this game.
Oh, God, Canyon.
Look at this. And Career has to flash where he is dead here as well with the follow-up Seraphine ultimate, the Encore. We talked about it in draft. It works so well with Wukong. This is just a phenomenal draft. I think this is a draft gap. As far as I know, there was no ward in here. Lucid is just blind, and it was close, but, I mean, that's just a desperate play. And the arrow hits the flashless Lulu. The follow-up is there. Chovy's on the flank. Dplus can really do nothing in this game. And I think Lucid, he knew it even before he died on Raptors that this game is just not playable. This draft has no win cons anymore.
It was already hard to play out, but after the Ashe Seraphine got locked in, just felt like DK then had zero answer. And once we were loading in onto the Rift, they're like, well, what are we supposed to do? And it's so hard. And this is sort of back-to-back. Gen.G just having beautiful drafts in response to what DK want to do, as Korea is going to be out of McHale's himself very nicely. The equalizer goes down, scatter the weak there on to Keen. But even if there are some nice answers, in goes Lucid. All right, here's the Hail Mary, the heroic entrance. It comes down as Smash trying to keep himself safe. They take down Lucid to start this off, as it is going to be a kill onto Ruler. They find one. Showmaker able to get something done, as now Smash throws out that Arc of Ruin onto Chovy. Not able to find too much more, as these harpoons from Kane took so much damage. It is going to be a 1-for-1, and when you're really far behind, a 1-for-1 feels all right.
Feels like the best you could ever hope for. And they really threw the kitchen sink at Ruler there.
I mean, it's still going to be Chemtech Soul.
Gen.G also gifted like a ton of ultimates over right before that happened as well.
Yeah.
They like went in and missed the Seraphine ult, and then the equalizer was dropped just for Siege. Dplus had one opportunity there. They seized one Ruler.
Yeah, and that's about it. Chemtech Soul now put together.
It saves the inhibitor turrets. Like, I think they don't get a kill there. The siege continues, and I mean, this is the moment I was talking about, right? Career gets caught, Seraphine ult misses, and then the equalizer is extremely low value, right? It's also onto the minion wave, so it helps them siege. But those are tools that Gen.G don't have, and Lucid gets on top of Ruler. Arc of Ruin is there. Everything is used defensively that they have left to keep Ruler alive, but it's just too much damage here coming out from Dplus, and the trade comes through.
Yeah, she also a fantastic ulti to make sure that Chovy wasn't able to just keep control. Not sure what Career was doing there, but he was probably trying to ward, and that's really, really hard in a game like this. And so he is just going to immediately get punished. It's still an 11,000 gold advantage, even though DK were able to go even in one trade. Okay, they might be up. Never mind. It is just going to be a Vault Breaker. That's all Lucid can really risk at this point in time. 20 seconds until Career is back up again, as Shiu is just going to getting damage rained on top of him. My God. Ruler just doing a lot right now with the 3 items he's put together already.
And I mean, 3 items on Duro as well in this game.
Yeah.
As the diadem into Moonstone.
He's
so much healing.
There's the flash taunt here. Gets a lot of flashes out of DK. Shiu is going to show up as well. Smash trying to get some autos down, and is actually able to get a little bit of work done as Chovy's interrupted. This might be a kill, as there's that Arc of Ruin that you were talking about before, but the flash in from Keen, the Inar overstepped, and it's a heroic entrance now from Chovy. Scatter the Weak is fantastic out of Showmaker, but I just don't know whether it's going to be enough here, as DK are circling the drain, and despite their best efforts, the gold lead for Gen.G just keeps on increasing.
Lucid trying to catch this wave. He will be able to buy some additional time here. They need to buy time for Smash to respawn, otherwise this game will just simply end.
Yeah, this inhibitor is certainly going to go down, as Showmaker does not get hit by the Encore. So, I mean, he might come back on stage once again. We'll just have to see, as Chovy is going to taunt up Career. It's just a little bit sad at this stage, isn't it? As he throws out the Wild Growth and does run away. He's actually going to survive somehow, but the Nexus turrets are not. And Gen.G, what an absolute domination here in this best of 3. 2 drafts that looked unplayable against. And DK just left scratching their heads with a loss in the column for the first time this LCK Cup. Gen.G remain undefeated.
The streak continues. The 5-game split between Elder and Baron continues. History repeats itself.